let's clear and create a new money story that supports you. The first thing I want you to do is just think about your own money story and what it looks like. Who taught you about money? Was it explicit teachings, or were there subconscious cues that you picked up on? Were your parents nervous about money, always frantic because they thought maybe they would run out? Were they always nickeling and diming? Did you go up in poverty like I did? What was your money story in terms of its creation? What did it look like? I also want you to think about the pros and cons of your money story, because I'm sure there's something positive that you can find. So I know my mother and I and my sister may have been in poverty, especially once my father passed away. But what I realized is that my mom actually still allowed me to explore and do the things that I desired to do. Even if she didn't have the money, she would find ways, even if that was, she started selling Avon, or if there were fundraising opportunities, she would take them, and that would allow me to be able to do things. And she never really told me we can't afford that. Those were some pros that really helped shape my mind today to where, that's not even something that I consider. Like, no, I'm not going to sit here and not try something because I don't think it's affordable. I'm going to see how much it is. Once I have seen that and outlined it, okay, cool. Is there a payment plan option? Because that's what I do for all of my programs. Like, I offer that because I know how helpful that was for me and for my mom as she was paying for things. Then I go in and I think about, all right, is there something that I can do extra to bring in money, whether it's manifesting it a certain way, if it's a job, a raise, a promotion, a bonus, like what can I do to bring in that channel of income, and write out several different things that could happen, right? It might not be active income streams. It could be passive. It could be getting sponsors. It could be something. There is always a way to afford those things. So really think about what your pros and cons were of your money story. And as you see those pros, tap into them and focus on that being what you take away. And any negative cons that you find in your money story, I want you to write your cons on a separate sheet of paper. And I want you to safely discard it, whether you tear it up and release, or if you are able to safely burn it in a fire pit. I would recommend that, because you need to let go of those cons. I know a lot of you are subconsciously holding that in your mind, and you probably have never even known you had this money story. Most people are so unaware of this. And then they wonder why things keep happening to them, why they keep spending all the money they do get. They can manifest money, but they can't contain it and hold it. Yeah, this happens all the time. And so as you were going through and creating that list about your money story, I want you to think about how this makes you feel. Obviously, your pros, you're going to feel something special about it, right? Think about your cons and how it makes you feel. Probably disempowered. And you probably don't want to put yourself in that position again. Use your story as a way to have power. Allow yourself to take that story and tap into the energy and emotions, and use it to help you create that new money story. Now, what type of money story would you like to create? This question is, I think, what a lot of people either overlook or underappreciate. And the reason why I say that is because when people hear you discuss money, they think, oh, well, I want a yacht. I want a $250,000 monthly, amount of money in business, or just they may think lavish stuff that's not even like something they really want. A lot of people want things or pretend they want things because that's what they see on social media. While social media does have a positive influence in some ways, it also has a negative, because it's almost like there's this programming that's happening that we think that we want all of these external things, and we really don't. We really don't. I want you to really get clear about what it is you would love to see within your money story and within your life. Your money story creates your reality. It really does. The story you play in your mind is what you're going to see on the outside. Is it that you want to manifest or bring in a new job? I am actually currently manifesting that, because now I'm ready to work a full-time role that allows me to still have a healthy life balance, and I can use that role to grow my contacts and also be able to run my businesses and be a radio show host here. So that's my story of the type of job that I would like. Think about what that looks like for you if you want one, or if it's your business, and how you want it to grow and what you want it to look like. What does your daily life look like in this job and this business? How does it serve you and your family? Think about your net worth, and if you want a new home or any other assets that you want to bring into your life. What about debt cancellation? This stuff happens, you guys. I know people who have had thousands of dollars in credit card debt that randomly got this big credit back randomly. But a lot of those people open their minds up. Your mind is the portal. And that's why I was talking about earlier about your third eye and seeing into the spiritual, because a lot of people are so focused on this practical and hustle, and that's typically people's money stories, is that they have to work for money. And that's really not the case, because think about the people who are the richest. Do you really think Jeff Bezos works harder than you? Do you really think Mark Zuckerberg works harder than you? No, we all have the same amount of time in the day. And honestly, I'm not discrediting their work ethic, but they also found ways to not have to work, because they can't work. You can only do so much. You can only exert so much active energy. And that's where that passive energy comes from, and those passive income streams. Income streams. Think about that. Stream is water. That's very feminine. And what you will learn is when you use your divine feminine, it is not about being a man or a woman. It's about energy. When you use your divine feminine energy, the money comes in. When you look at the masculine energy, it holds the money. So you have to have both. If you want to be wealthy, you have to have both. You can't just focus on one without the other. That's the beauty of spirituality in dealing with money. And that's what I'm going to talk about in more detail on the next podcast episode, because that needs to be said. A lot of people think, the man, you got to work like a man. You got to bring home the bacon. You got to do this. You got to do that. And that's just not true. So let's shift that money mindset. Let's shift the story and have an abundance mindset. Let's look at endless possibilities as opposed to, this is what I was born into. I can't really do anything. I can't get myself out of this situation. That is not true. That is a lie that you have been told, whether consciously or subconsciously, and it is something that you can let go of. You can let go of. Now, I want you to, after you know what your money story, your new one that you would like to have, see yourself living in this way now. And that is embodying the law of assumption. And that is something that I talk about in more detail. I know that I did share my social media channels that you guys can tune in, where I have typically daily uploads or at least weekly, especially on YouTube. But I talk about this in a lot more detail. And you guys, when you understand the law of assumption and Neville Goddard, which I will do a podcast episode on this, you will find yourself being able to manifest things more frequently, more flowy, and it will just feel normal for you. And the law of assumption is basically when you live in the end. For example, if you want your money story to be like you are able to trust yourself in your financial decisions, and you spend money with an open mind, and you invest in yourself as opposed to running off to like the casino and blowing all your money every time you get it, right? That's just an example. Live in that state now by making a decision of how you're going to spend and committing to that. And that takes me to the next thing. What is an action you can take each day towards your new money story? So instead of, I'm just using this as an example, instead of wasting my money in places that are not giving me a return, I'm going to take the time to invest my money into my personal development. I'm going to take the time to read the books that I've had on the shelf about money mindset. I'm going to actually put in the work into my passive income stream so that it can grow over time, as opposed to me just trying to pick up 3 jobs and I'm tired and I'm really working myself to the bone when I can really just use my mind to create my wealth, because that is what I did. And it's evident, and it is better for me. I look at people who, they may make higher salaries, but in some cases they have burnt out. Now, thankfully, roles are promoting more of a work-life balance. They don't want people to burn out, because what they found out is, millennials don't play that. And I'm a millennial. Like, we're not finna do that, because we want to live past 60. We don't want to be enabled in our bodies and our minds and our souls, because we were just so devoted to a job that really hurt our lives in other realms and in other ways, and we weren't able to spend time with our families. Like, we really want to make sure that that is a priority. So the reason why I'm sharing all of this is because you want to see what actions you can take. And it doesn't have to be something that's so over the top with your new money story. It can be simply, okay, you know what? I'm going to start off listening to my affirmations about money. You know what? I'm going to go to Jasmine's website, shesworthy.org, and I'm going to grab her free challenge, manifest $1,000 in 5 days. And I'm actually going to put in the work. And I'm going to believe that this is possible for me. I'm telling you all, it really just takes you putting your energy into it. And that's why I use the term energy in motion, because a lot of people don't understand that the best way to manifest is to use your emotions in that. And that's why I asked you, how does this make you feel? Your old money story, and how does your new one make you feel? Obviously, the one you're creating is probably starting to make you feel good. And so you want to use that to your advantage. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find me on Instagram, Facebook, or even if you find me on TikTok, I want you to share a post of your new money story and what you have chosen. I don't know what brave soul is going to do this, but I'm excited to be tagged and be a part of it. And when you do that, I'm going to make sure that you get into my challenge where you're manifesting $1,000 in 5 days. And this is going to help change your life. Like, this is the one thing that I think that more people need access to. So when you share that post and you tag me in it, that's going to allow people to see the work that I have been getting out there. That's going to give people more opportunities to become millionaires, because it is a lot easier than you think. It is. There are so many millionaires here, especially if you live in the U.S. It's happening more and more. If you live in other parts of the world, I know that there are chances in some places there are not. So I am cognizant of that. But you can create, especially online though, if you have a phone and you got some internet, baby, you can make some money. You can make some money. It's no excuse. We don't have all the barriers that we used to have. We don't. We have so much more now than we've ever had before. And so you need to take advantage of this. You guys, I am so excited about this journey that we are going to be on. I am just happy to be on the radio station now, as well as you can access the Money Goddess podcast on Spotify or any other place where you can listen in to podcasts. And let's get it. Let's go. I can't wait to talk with you guys again next week.